Well, don't get too bored.
Can you hear me, Scott?
right there.
Okay.
You're talking about the one that dead ended that had the restrooms at the park?
Yeah. Which also feeds, and I'll give it to you all, also feeds
Mhm.
that new house, the newer house. Right behind the apartments.
Oh. The one
You
that
know how it's
remodeled.
up, yeah, you know how it's up in that.
Have you still got Jeff on your phone?
No, he hung up.
Ask him if he can hear.
He's got it now. He just-
Yeah, I got it loud and clear.
Okay, we got it. You got it.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
Water Street, going down Water Street.
I'm just thinking ahead.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that.
Yeah, once they do the parking lot, then yeah. A lot needs to be done in there.
So we don't need to do it till we do the parking lot.
Well, if you're gonna have State Street or Water Street tore up right there in front of my
Yeah,
building,
because they're
I would
gonna-
hook up his
Okay, because they're gonna tear up,
right there by,
yeah, because they're gonna tear out the gas right there, so. All right, let's go in and we'll look at that. We may just do that ourselves ahead of time.
sorry to throw you off track there. I was gonna say something to you when we met down there the other day.
Yeah, no, that's good.
That's an old galvanized line feeding down. And since we're there on State Street anyway, right there.
Where's his
Okay, they
kid?
had to kill it going into the park anyway.
Right behind that gas building. I mean, right there.
Right, runs right next to it.
That whole 4-inch runs right there. Probably 4 feet off of that shed that's there.
Okay.
And there's a newer valve up at that intersection.
So we're replacing the sidewalk, so we might as well hit it. We gotta hit it now. Okay. Because the sidewalk's gonna be replaced from Pendleton Avenue all the way to East Street. And, then we'll resurface, once everything's done, of course, we'll resurface from Pendleton Avenue to East Street. And then replace curb and gutter from, well, curb and gutter.
Apartments are fed by that 4-inch too.
And apartments are fed off of Pelham Avenue.
I meant that house behind, or the meter that's behind the apartments in between that
Yes,
remodeled house.
yes, there's 2
That
meters.
goes right down the property
Actually,
line. There's 2 meters, there's one for that White House and then one for the remodel house.
do you have?
So we have 3 services on that line. And that line ties into that 6-inch down there in the alley.
There's a newer valve up for,
Would it be better just to come off that 10-inch with the service line and just go feed those 3 houses?
I would.
Versus having that 4-inch line run all the way back to that 6.
I shut that point off to all new.
At least when they redo the parking lot, they won't have to worry about a 4-inch line running through there.
And that's all,
That would be a lot easier than tying that 4-inch line back into that 10-inch, because then we could just shut the valve and tie it off right there, put a cap right there at the end of that 4-inch valve,
4 inches old.
or go back to the main and take it off and get wet.
All right, well, let's dive into that in detail, later. We'll get the plans out and look at it. So that's all I had. If you guys have any more thoughts or comments?
One quick question. I heard about resurfacing the roads. When we get ready to resurface roads, do we cut anything off the top? Or we just
Yeah.
stacking?
No more stacking.
Because
It's
there are
terrible.
several places where it's shedding.
Right. So, yeah, we've got to, we're gonna start doing that. What we'll probably do is, I can't remember what the test is called, but it's basically, you core down and then you drive to see how good your foundation is, your subgrade. we'll do that now. We're gonna be smarter about it, because we are gonna have to mill down, down to where we get the curves exposed again. The only danger is when you do that, you may find that you mill it down, then you find out everything's trash underneath. And now what are you gonna do? So before we resurface, any place that's got a curve, we'll test it. Just do some core samples to see if it's stable enough to take off 2-4 inches and then resurface. Yeah, that's one of those pay me now or pay me later. If you just keep paving and not milling, you're just creating drainage problems. And eventually, you got to face reality. If you've got a sub base that's crumbling, then you're just going to have to reconstruct it. Good question, man.
Caroline Street, just across from the fire station. My grandfather has done that for a long time, and over the years I've watched it slowly. And the road's extremely nice right now. Of course, we left out a nice newly paved road, and it was low to begin with.
Right. So this is an interesting question. So the town council passes a stormwater fee tomorrow, and we start collecting that. So a street, everybody forgets this. A street, a curb and gutter is a stormwater conveyance system. So if you have a street that we've just kept paving over and it's built up and it's no longer conveying the stormwater, you know, do you use the stormwater fee to go in and mill it down and reconstruct that road? There are some places in town, I would argue, absolutely. We need to do that.
Sure, that's a very minor example, especially given how short the street is.
Yeah. But that's where it happens, and but that's those short streets is where it's happening. So another classic is Moore Avenue. So it's built up, and those homes are on the side, well, on the downhill side. So instead of the street taking the water down to Pendleton Avenue and getting rid of it, it goes into their yard. Well, that's one where you need to mill down, so they'll maybe drain it, have the grade so that
More to
to the center and it takes it. So. Okay. The next thing I want to next thing.
Does that say on? Power on?
Yeah.
I've got you.
Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we'll keep moving on. The next thing is the copy. It's the whole report is, I don't know, 100 pages. This is just the key first 4 pages, and it's the water audit. So I'll go through this really quick. So Commonwealth Engineers did this for us. It's a requirement by the state. If you turn to page 2, validated audit results, it says our water loss is 39.8, which is really high. And it's a So to improve our score, there's a lot of things we can do that are administrative. And if you go back up to page 1, the action items that'll improve that, the recommended action items. So it's into 3 categories. So the first is master meters, and we just need to write a policy. That we flow test annually our production flow meters, calibrate them. Apparently we're not doing it now, right?
Last one I know we did was probably 3 or 4 years ago.
That's the old plant, the new plant, I mean, it's,
Yeah, the new plant.
Yeah, but
They should be done every year.
But yeah, so we need to do those. Completed planned upgrade of all meters to a touch read technology with electronic billing. So there's just a few left to do that, right? We've got
but we've already got the 1-inch meter, we're just waiting for the weather. We've
Okay.
installed several of them.
Okay.
To really hammer down on them, it doesn't need to be 8 degrees outside.
I wouldn't want to open pits right now.
No, I don't want to.
And then what about your 2-inch meters? You're gonna,
We just replace those as they go out. I know there's
because we're all
one,
touch read anyway.
there's one here at the post office that needs replaced. There's one out in, out at the mall area where there's one, Anita's, that area. There's one 2-inch out there that needs replaced.
And that's it.
So we just need to have a written policy that says we're gonna do that. But right now, Tracy, we keep record of all new meter installs anyway, date, location. Right, so we're good on that. Then bullet number 3 under that, build meter connections and establish a written policy procedure that states the customer will be flow tested annually by flow testing old meters that are removed in accordance with the meter replacement program.
And I've been thinking about
And you can think of that, right?
how we would write up a plan to take so many meters out every year and have them tested and then put back in and just slowly work around town. Even though the new meters we just put in have 20-year accuracy, 20-year battery life.
But I was gonna say they should be guaranteed for 10, at least 10.
But at minimum, we need to start it just so there's a habit, because in 10 years, nobody will remember this except for getting dinged on
So are
that.
these commercial meters or meters at homes?
Both.
Completely
Well,
meters.
both.
How many meters in this town like that? Homes?
They replaced all the meters except for 32 unmetered accounts.
No, those are, that's like the fire station and the town hall. And those are the metered but unbilled. But the unmetered accounts, I think, were the water trucks, the pool companies and stuff that we shut down temporarily.
Permanently on purpose.
But, yeah, we replaced pretty much all of the 5/8 ones. There's still some out there that we haven't replaced because the bottom valves are broke. So we gotta replace them hot. But we just got in 71-inch meters, and that should be able to get all the 1-inch meters over to our system and then just keep working our way up.
How many you say you got in? You said
There's 1,600 and,
no, I mean, you said you got 70 1-inch meters?
yeah,
If you don't mind me asking, what's a typical, take one out, put one in? How long does that take?
to put one in depends on the situation,
I'm
really.
sure,
But a typical one, maybe 5 minutes. Maybe it just depends on how deep it is. Everything's different, but usually it doesn't take very long. But with our valves and stuff around town, some of them have never been turned. Because people move out, move in, they never have the water shut off. So there's a couple around town that they were going to turn the valves and they were replacing the meters and snap the key right off of it. So,
I know we recently, there's a house over on Main Street, I'm pretty sure it's the whole system that's out by the street needs to be replaced. It's not in good shape, but, so I was curious how many were left like that. Sounds like you would have done before.
Yeah, there's maybe a handful of 5/8 and then I think Zane's put in, what, 10,
Probably.
maybe 10 1-inch. So we maybe have, 55 or so. I've ordered a little bit of extra 1-inch just in case we have something happen or somebody comes in that needs a 1-inch meter or 1-inch service and we already have a new meter there for them. But once we get going on it, it won't take very long at all to change them around. I already been in contact with Ashbury Point to give them a heads up that we're gonna be changing meters as soon as the weather breaks. But I just want to get with them and schedule a time so that way they can let their residents know that if they lose water for 5-10 minutes, don't panic, it'll come back. We're just changing the meter out. So just to give them a heads up.
What's considered a weather break for you guys?
Above 8. No. No, I think here in the next couple weeks, I think it's supposed to be in the mid-30s. So as long as the sun's shining and it's mid-30s, it won't feel that cold and we can go out and start swapping some more out.
So under system mapping, create a policy that mandates annual field verifications of mains, valves. To update the existing GIS system. We need our mapping needs probably a little bit of attention, but
I've been going around in the GIS and I've put in all Hunsinger Farms, trailer park. Been doing all that stuff, trying to get it updated. Like I told.
and we need, as these subdivisions go in, we need to make sure.
Yeah, well, those should be able to come in, because I talked to Kayla, and those should be able to come in like a PDF form to where we can either give it to
Banning or the
the,
MCOG.
yeah,
GIS,
cog, and they
right.
can just overlay it right on top of the maps. I mean, I could put them in right now, but they would just look like water lines in a field. 'Cause there's no updated imagery.
So are you still requiring it to have the as-built on them?
As-bills. I think we still require 2 as-bills, a PDF form and an AutoCAD. But the thing is I just got asked today by Arbor Homes doing Hunsinger Farms. They asked, what format do we want everything in? So I emailed Kayla. She said that our policy is pretty vague on, it's not very specific on what we require for, kind of format and stuff like that. So I'm going to start looking around at other water utilities and see what kind of formats they use for water mapping, see what they require. So we can have something that if somebody wants to send us PDFs or AutoCAD or whatever, they can click on there and it'll tell them exactly what they need to send. Instead of emailing me and asking, it should already be on our website.
Is that a digital database or it's all digital in the sense that it can be manipulated in real time, or it's PDF based and you're putting documents in that pertain to property?
I think it's under PDF form. Yeah, that would be a Kayla question. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I don't think it can, I can manipulate it in our GIS, but I mean, we still require sheet of as-bills.
Sure.
But then the PDF is nice because then we can just put it into our system and access it from anywhere, really.
Okay. Then our system mapping, we talked about mapping, getting that up to date. And then the next thing is we haven't done a hydrant flow, I guess, for a long time.
96. I know exactly.
Been a while.
Is that when we created that water color map?
Yeah.
Did you talk to Ryan about getting it?
It's probably still in the truck that on it. So we should have that truck back Friday.
And then we really need to do this with the subdivision going in, create a hydraulic model, update it based on what the hydrant flow tests are. I think what we'll do on that, save town money, is a developer, they come in, they put in so many homes, they have to pay for that hydraulic modeling for the whole town, because they're hooking up to the system, so we need to know how it affects it.
Kent was working on that back before I transferred. Doing some kind of hydraulic modeling. And I don't know if they got put on hold.
I've talked to him and there's, town's never had a hydraulic model.
Right, I know he was
Yeah,
starting
but he
that.
never mentioned anything
And then-
about completing it or,
Okay,
so I'm pretty
So-
sure it just got,
I know that was
Filed.
part of that.
I don't know. I've talked to him quite a few times and he's never mentioned it.
So that's what we're gonna do. So, you go to page 3, that's really a checklist for Justin and I to go through. Work on this. Most of it's on my end, some of this I'm just gonna contract out, I'm not gonna do it. Some of it we can do it now. If we get some model SOPs, then yeah, we can doctor that up. Go with that.
And if I might add that, I mean, yes, we had 39% water loss, but that was also with the old meters too. Not these new ones. And I've read those for 15 years. So who knows if they were, spot on accuracy like the new ones are. So, I know we have to do another water audit. We don't have to do a validation at the end of this year, but we do have to do another water audit. So hopefully our number goes down versus going up.
So you think it'll go down because, say that again?
The old meters that were in town, that a lot of them have been replaced. And some of the 2-inch ones that aren't reading, I mean, that's where a lot of your water loss goes. Those meters have been in for, I've read it for 15 years before they got replaced. So who knows how, when they were put in before I got here. But
98 is when we finished putting all them.
so quite a while. So, I'm sure those meters have worn down and weren't quite as accurate, so.
When would that test be for year over year?
Do what, sorry?
When would that test be? When would you be able to, last year's test versus, I guess, what would be this
It
year?
would be this whole year because we still had the old meters 3/4 of last year before we started changing them last.
Jan 1 to Jan 1.
Yes. That'll be a good comparison. From Gen 1 or Gen
So the new meters were finished being put in when?
They were finished at the beginning of this year, wasn't it?
Mm-mm.
No.
They didn't leave till March. They left right before the pandemic started.
So maybe April would be a good,
That's what
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
curious if you.
just make.
We could figure it
Yeah,
out.
I don't know if we can change, I don't know what the state has. I don't know if it's gotta be January.
It may be, maybe calendar year.
I think the water audit is January. Right, calendar.
There were 2.
Yeah, as long as by next year our numbers go down, I'm pretty sure we'll be happy.
Yeah, let's do nothing. Watch our numbers go down and then pat ourselves on the back. How's that?
There is one meter that you might remember that probably needs to be tested is out at the apartment complex, that large meter there,
6-inch meter.
because you could be losing quite a bit of
We
water.
did put a new 2-inch
Right, I was part of that one.
because that one quit reading.
So that 6 inches,
I'll have to would I get a hold of Bass and Logan? Or who would I get in contact to be able to check meters like that? Because surely God, we don't have to pull the meter for them to check it, do we?
We borrowed this for the bid opening.
let me talk to you about that tomorrow.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Also, one more thing.
Sure.
I got a hold of Scott Needham, given the highlight of the Florida attack. I don't know if you heard about that. They had somebody logged into their SCADA system and amped up their hydrogen soa.
Something like that.
Yeah, whatever
Hydro something.
chemical they put in. Someone hacked into their SCADA system and upped that up to like dangerous levels, and they caught it before it happened. So I got with Scott Needham. I emailed him, I haven't heard anything back. back just to check on our SCADA system and make sure that every security system is in
Can't do
place. That, I mean, I don't think you can completely prevent it, but you can at least make it really hard to get in. If they want in, more likely they're gonna get in. But at least make sure all our security system and everything is up to date, or if there's something else we need to add to make it even more secure. So we'll let you know what we find out, just to prevent that from happening.
Sounds good. Anything else? I'll make a motion, we close the meeting.
All in favor, say aye.
Say aye.
Passes 3-0. So we'll probably, once we know more on Franklin Street, we'll bring you in again. So that'll be just, we should only need to meet a couple, 2 or 3 times a year. And next time we do meet, I'll try and remember to let you know what our capital improvement fund is, how much we've got. We've got around $1 million in there.
Is that what the 400,000 will come from?
200,000, yeah.
Whatever
Yeah, for the water line improvement, the 150,000,
then the 273.
yeah, capital improvement. Okay. And then we have for the vehicles and equipment, we have depreciation fund. They just got a new vehicle, and we're paying right now the utility bed is being put on it. They got a new pickup.
Put some good warning lights.
Yes,
Yes.
they're getting put on also.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just curious.
I just seen Ricky driving his truck with 4-way flashers, and I'm thinking,
He's got a bed coming.
He's got that.
His bed's going on after.
And we're putting the lights on the bed. So,
We're having Jocelyn.
so when they transfer,
He's putting the bed on in the whole package, strobe package.
because these trucks right now, we're getting them at the government fleet discount. So we could, right now, if we turned around after a year using it, we could make money on it. So for a while that's going on, we're gonna be churning these trucks quite a bit. We'll just pull that utility bed off, put the old traditional bed back on it, and then take it as a trade-in and then buy another fleet vehicle. The trucks, we got them, they're 350s and we got them for $30,000.
And they have backup cameras and power windows.
And they got
I
the,
know.
You're not gonna beat that.
and they got the snow package and the extra heavy duty alternator.
good.
We got 7,500 for one of the trades. You ought to look at trading in your.
I don't see.
You need
Yeah.
to
You ought to
look at
just
trading
start-
in your truck park. Right?
Sell them
Your park truck right now.
to construction companies here in town, you make even more off of.
What year is your truck?
Probably, I think it's a 99. No, it's 2009.
What, your old one?
The park.
Oh,
See, you can get 7,000 for it. And it, the trucks were rusted. So.
Yeah.
That's putting it very, very lightly.
So you can get a 350 for, you can get a 250 for probably 28, 26. You can get a 150 for, what size is that? Is that a half ton?
Yeah, it's half ton.
You get a 150, 22?
Half ton of a plow.
Won't last long.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, you're probably doing
that's the
about,
problem I got now.
That's what I'm saying, that's all I wanted
you
to
can
do.
prorate that out over 5 years, that's 4,000 a year, 5,000 a year. Hell, you're probably gonna do that much in maintenance.
I'll have to talk to Mr. Burris about that. Anything else?
So where do you send them to get new dump beds and strobe packages?
Tell you what, it's the place in Middletown, Truck Pro. Is that where they send it?
I think that's right. Yeah.
So the original place wanted to charge us 1,500 for places. I mean, we bought the bed off of them, and then 15 additional to swap them out. And Truck Pro did it for $650.
I think, yeah. I know involved
And
in
then
it.
plus the scrub. And it's aluminum. Yeah, it's aluminum bed. So
Those
it's
are-
gonna
We're pretty
last.
much copying what Regional Waste is. The one on one of their trucks, I think their bed is 20, 25 years old or something. So I think they've got it on a plan to whenever they get a new truck, they take that bed off, put it on the new truck, either that, and I think it's every 5 years or so. They take that bed, send it off, have it completely stripped and completely repainted and to where it looks like it's brand new, because it's aluminum, so it's not gonna rust.
Do you want them to try and take some of the
Yeah.
beating off of them?
Yeah, we lined it. Tracy, are we offline?
I'm shutting it down now.